Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Rehma Shahid and I'm a youth board member with the California School-Based Health Alliance, also known as CSHA. I will be your youth moderator for today's webinar titled Youth in Action, Leading Tobacco and Vaping Prevention and Intervention in Schools. Before we begin, we want to make sure we're thanking our funder. We gratefully acknowledge the support of the California Department of Education Tobacco Use Prevention Education Program for this project. The contents do not necessarily reflect the position or the policy of the CDE. On to some quick housekeeping items. If you need a higher quality audio, you can dial the number from the webinar invitation link. This webinar is being recorded, so no AI note takers will be allowed. Any and all materials, such as all the slide decks you'll be seeing today, will be shared after the webinar. Also, since we're having some amazing, inspiring youth leaders with us today sharing their amazing work, we'd highly encourage everyone to please show them the love and the support in the group chat. Please hype them up, but also be hyped up for all of their awesome work. Here are our webinar agreements that everyone agreed to when registering for this webinar. Here they are again, friendly reminder to please be present and ready to learn, communicate respectfully, and contribute to a learning environment that strengthens our advocacy and allyship with youth. A little bit more about our organization. If you don't already know about us, the California School-Based Health Alliance, or CSHA, is a statewide nonprofit organization dedicated to improving health and academic success of children and youth by advancing health and health services in schools. Our work is based on two basic concepts. Healthcare should be accessible and where kids are, and schools should have services needed to ensure that poor health is not a barrier to their learning. We do this through capacity building, technical assistance, and workshops and webinars like the one you are in here today. There should be a link to our website where you can find recordings, slides, and additional resources in the group chat. Onto our membership. If you're not already a member of our organization, please consider joining us. You get a variety of different perks such as conference registration discounts, technical assistance tailored to your organizational needs, and updates on policies impacting school health. You should see a link to sign up in the group chat, or you can scan the QR code on the slide. Speaking of conference, CSHA is hosting our annual School Health and Behavioral Health Conference on April 27th through the 28th at the Hilton Los Angeles Universal City. There will be several TUPE and substance use related workshops available as well, so please consider joining us if you haven't already. Moving on to objectives, here is what you can expect from today. We will be able to understand how the TUPE program supports youth leadership and advocacy, learn how a peer-led alternative to suspension program gives students caught with drugs or alcohol a support growth-focused path forward. We'll understand why this approach is more effective than punitive or traditional punishments, and we'll be able to understand what the RAISE program is all about. Now I get the pleasure to introduce to you all the three amazing youth groups from different parts of California doing their phenomenal tobacco use prevention education and intervention work. We have Antioch High School Peer Advocates, Restorative Accountable Youth Solutions, and Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. For today's agenda, we'll have the three youth groups take turns, give us a brief presentation on the impactful work they've been putting into, and then we'll follow up with a facilitated conversation between myself and all the three groups to really dive into these youth leaders' thoughts and experiences. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our first presenting youth group, Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. Students from the Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program will share about their roles in their school's anti-vape social club and their involvement in TUPE. They will highlight their leadership in prevention efforts and the positive impact they're making on their campuses.
Can everyone see our presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
So thank you for everyone for having us here. And we are Isbell Academy of College and Careers, and this is our TUPE Club.
About our anti-vape social club. Our anti-vape social club, we have a Red Ribbon Week, we have PSAs. We are currently working with our ASB class and having them present in advisory classes about vaping, tobacco use, and other drugs that are impacting teens. We also work with our wellness center to promote something every month, such as Mental Health Awareness Month and Drunk Driving Awareness.
A little bit about us. Hi, my name is Esteban Carrillo Martinez, and I'm an 8th grade student at Isbell Middle School. I joined TUPE Club because I wanted to become more aware about how drugs affect people and change my community.
Hi, my name is Natalia Retana. I am an 8th grader at Isbell Middle School, and I joined the TUPE Anti-Vape Social Club because I wanted to spread the realizations, negativities, and side effects of vaping and nicotine use.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Donnelly. I'm an 8th grader at Isbell Middle School. I joined the TUPE Club because I wanted to help spread awareness about the dangers of vaping and tobacco usage. Red Ribbon Week. In October, we celebrate Red Ribbon Week on our campus for an entire week. We had daily activities where we promoted anti-vaping and the negative effects of drugs, tobacco, and alcohol. We had dressed up spirit days and played music and games. We asked students questions and provided information on the negative effects of tobacco use. A highlight was having students sign a pledge banner showing that they will live an anti-tobacco, drug, and alcohol-free life.
Outdoor games and music. At Isbell, we play music on our quad every Tuesday and Thursday. We also provide games for students to use so they have something fun and constructive to do during lunch and stay away from vaping and tobacco. Our reasons for doing this is because it provides fun activities for students to do during lunch. It encourages staff and student relationships and connections, helps promote different resources for students to use, and it provides students with a mental break from school. As you can see in these images, these are some photos of students playing games and even playing games with some teachers.
Our collaboration with our Wellness Center. On our campus, we collaborate with our Wellness Center for campaigns such as Red Ribbon Week, Kindness Week, and Mental Health. Activities we collaborate with the Wellness Center include on Spirit Week activities, which they help us with, monthly lunchtime activities, PSAs that we do during advisory period, and monthly topics such as drunk driving awareness, healthy relationships, suicide prevention, and more. Advisory period PSAs. We have filmed PSAs that we share during our advisory periods that all students attend. In that class, they learn what the side effects of drugs and how drugs are damaging both mentally and physically. We try to reduce the use of vape pens, tobacco, nicotine, and marijuana in those PSAs. We give information on harmful substances such as cigarettes, cigars, tobacco, vape pens, e-cigarettes, cannabis, alcohol, and other drugs. When we make these PSAs, we strive to minimize the use of these products within the youth of our community.
Here is the video of one of the PSAs we played during advisory. Let us know if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Hey Counters, this is Jillian Lena, and today we would like to share some facts and advice on the dangers of drug and drunk driving.
Did you know that if you're convicted of drunk driving, it can range from $10,000 to $25,000 with the consequences of you losing your driver's license, your vehicle, your life, and you can also endanger the lives of others. So always make sure to make the smart choices while on the road.
Statistics estimate that over 1,300 people have died in the United States due to drunk driving this year alone. In California specifically, over 1,355 people have died in alcohol-related crashes.
Moving on to drug driving. Drug driving is driving under the influence of different substances. Like, for example, marijuana. Studies show that marijuana has been found in the blood of crash-involved drivers even more than alcohol.
Where that drug driving is illegal in all 50 states, including all of the places where marijuana is legal.
10,903 people were killed in drug-involved traffic crashes. When using drugs, it can slow reaction time, change perception of time and distance, which can cause lane swerving. Drugs are very dangerous and can cause many different effects.
Hopefully everyone learned something new today, and remember to make the right choices and to always be careful. Thank you, and go Condors.
Issues on our campus. There are issues on every campus across the nation, but the most important ones we are trying to fix are students struggling to find the courage to talk to someone, students not feeling comfortable with the adult at school, students feeling afraid of judgment from their fellow peers or staff, students feeling worried about their problems being shared by friends.
Changes we would like to see in our community. We would like to see more collaborations between our peers and outreach centers. We should encourage people more to ask for help if it is needed, whether if it's for work, family problems, or mental health reasons, or anything they have trouble with. We really don't want to see community members scared to ask for help because we are here if they need it. And we really want to see a reduce in the amount of children who use tobacco and other drugs.
Thank you, and this is our presentation.
Everyone, please show some love for Antioch High School peer advocates in the group chat. Oh my God, you guys did amazing. I love that you guys are super active and are doing such a variety of things. And when you guys are so young, so I really hope you can continue doing this work in the future. And great job at the end of your presentation being reflective and creating like tangible changes in your community. Now, the Antioch High School peer advocates are highly trained, student-led team that mentors their classmates while supporting mental health awareness, conflict resolution, and alternative to suspension programs. They bring positive energy, real listening skills, and campus-wide commitment to helping students feel supported and empowered.
Whoa. Hang on. Having a tech issue. I'm sorry.
No worries, we have time.
All right, go ahead, guys.
So we're gonna introduce ourselves again. So hi, I'm Justin. I'm a senior and a peer advocate.
Hi, I'm Yesenia. I'm a junior and a second-year peer advocate. Hi, my name's Liliana. I'm a junior and I'm also a second-year peer.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a second-year peer and I'm a junior.
Yes, I'm sharing the slides right now.
I don't think we see them. Is it just me on my end? Oh, here it is. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but I have to back up. Right, so today we're going to talk about the Antioch High School's PI program, which is Peer Intervention Education. I can move this. Yeah. Jasmine, can you move this? I can't move this. You're fine. Gotcha. Yep.
What is the Antioch High School peer program? It's 2 classes, beginning and advanced. In the beginning class, it's the training to be an advanced peer. So you'd go through all the PI trainings and all of the specifically detailed trainings. And it's 2 sections with approximately 35 students with daily classes. And the advanced class is them executing the peer duties from which they learned from the first class. It's also 2 sections and approximately 40 students with daily classes. And it's also both A through G approved electives.
What do peer advocates do? Peer advocates do one-on-one meetings, including income. We do meetings with people who like feel like they just need to talk to someone or just talk about anything, to be honest. We also have like a mentoring program where the incoming ninth graders are usually referred when they're like eighth graders to us, and then the advanced peers we usually like help the ninth graders to come in and see like get them used to high school or whatever. We also do conflict mediation. So like if two students or multiple students are having a conflict, we do our best to try to resolve it and make sure it doesn't continue any further. Then we also have PI, Peer Intervention Education. It's a pilot with CCCDE and a curriculum. And then we work with the Wellness Room, Peer Level Wellness Works, campus community building activities such as Start with Hello, create and teach lessons about related topics to other classes on campus, and show our program to other educators to help build peer programs in districts across the states.
Justin, do you also want to talk a little bit about what you're doing now with Alternative to Suspension?
Oh yes, I've also started working with Alternative to Suspension with another Miss. Her name is Miss P. So we work with kids who kind of like the same thing with like the conflicts, where they get in conflicts or they get like suspended and they don't want to get suspended. I work with them a little bit to help them like resolve it or work on like why they did the thing they did and to help them fix that.
Okay, so what exactly is peer intervention education, aka PI? So PI is a pilot program with the Contra Costa County Office of Education, and the curriculum was created with the Contra Costa County Office of Education and TUPE and the Advanced Peers Advocates 3 years ago. All peers are trained once a year by the Contra Costa County Office of Education and certified in being able to do PI meetings, and advanced peers help out during that training. And then all the meetings are approved by parents, so the parents know what is going on. And okay, so a PI is usually 3 meetings between the student and a peer, and is often instead of suspension.
Yesenia, do you want to talk about the purpose of PI?
Oh, yeah. So this program is designed for peer-to-peer support, and we help the participant explore why they use alternatives to use and set goals related to their use and help them decide if they want to change. So in the 2021 to 2022 school year, we started PI and the first advocates got trained. And then in the 2023 to 2024 school year, we had 45 PI advocates trained, with 15 completing 2 PIs or more and 4 completing 1 session. And then the 2024 to 2025 school year was a big year for PI, where we partnered with 2 more schools in the San Ramon Valley district and expanded PI to them. And then we also had 42 PI advocates trained, with 25 completing at least 2 PI sessions. And Antioch High School did co-lead PI training at other schools countywide. And then we also got San Ramon Valley trained, and they had 28 PI advocates trained, with 2 completing at least 2 PI sessions. And then in the 2025 to 2026 school year, we got the San Ramon Valley and West Contra Costa Unified School District on PI, and we did PI trainings with them as well.
Does one of you want to talk about what you did last week?
So last week we went out to El Cerrito High School and we taught them about PI and we taught them how to implement PI into their program a lot.
So PI program process. The adult process is a student is found with tobacco and other drugs on campus. The vice principal meets with the student and determines the student's options. If eligible, the vice principal offers peer intervention education as an alternative to suspension. Students can only do this once a year. You can't get caught repeatedly and have a PI after PI after PI. So that's why it says if eligible. At that time, the VP submits the PI referral to me, Schweitzer, and then I assign a PI advocate, usually based on like commonalities or things like that. I then email the teacher and I send the student a PI evaluation survey following the completion of all the meetings to make sure that our goals were achieved and to figure out how to grow and become better if our goals were not achieved. And then I notify the vice principal that the series of PI meetings are complete.
And then the PI advocate process for peer, we are trained usually as beginning peers, and then after our training, we become certified as PI advocates. Then we also do a lot of practicing if you're beginning or if you feel like you need more work on it. So we practice the PI meeting a lot. Then usually our teacher, she would refer us to the material and then the person that we're going to work with. And then we schedule a meeting with that student. And like she stated before, that it's usually around like 3 meetings. We meet with the student, pull the student out of classroom, walk with them, uh, do it with them. And then after that, we'll walk them back to class. We'll log each meeting. And then after the student is fully completed with the pie, we'll give them a little quick kit from TUPE, and it contains gum, sticks, and anything to help them either like little stress toys to not do it something, or like gum to help them like not have the urge to use the product they were using.
Okay, so the PI data student post survey. So after they do the PI, Schweitzer sends them a survey for them to complete to know what we can do better and if we need to like fix anything about the PI program. So 100% of participating students report that their PI advocate understood their needs. 85% of students indicated that they gained useful tools to support themselves after participating in the peers program. 100% of participating students who completed the survey felt that the program was good as it is. And then student responses, also along in the survey, they made comments. And so some of them were, I felt like it went well, no improving, made me realize I smoked too much. It made me feel like I wasn't the only one who had to do it because some of my close friends participated in the program, helped me with quitting, and it gave me options to think about and whether I want to do better with my general health.
That's it. Right here, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of your excellent work. Everyone, please show some love for Antioch High School peer advocates in the group chat. I love how you guys really design your presentation in like a Q&A format. And you guys have quite a story to tell, as I heard. It takes a lot of time to like strengthen the bonds between youth and adult allyship. So, and also way to like making a positive impact, just going beyond just your school, which is crazy. Now let's move on to Ray's youth group. RAISE, which stands for Restorative Accountable Youth Solutions, is a student-led alternative to suspension program that is based in restorative practices. They're extensively trained and highly motivated teamworks with students who have made poor choices by providing support and guidance in decision making and substance use and academic achievement.
Did I get the audio on there?
Yeah,
I did. Okay. Hello.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you so much for your introduction. That was great. We'll get started here.
I just want to take a moment to introduce all of us. I'm Alyssa, I'm a senior, and in my free time, I like to play volleyball and softball.
I'm Graham, I'm a junior, and in my free time, I like to snowboard.
I'm Charles, I'm a senior, and I like to play volleyball in my free time.
I'm Devin, I'm also a senior, and I like to play guitar in my free time.
I'm Ziggy, I'm a junior, and I also like to play volleyball in my free time.
So let's start with like an opening question. What is RAISE? So RAISE stands for Restorative Accountable Use Solutions. A big focus of our program is that we're an alternative to punitive discipline program. So a lot of other ways that students get punished are very like they're pushing them away from the community and they feel really disconnected from their campus. So RAISE has a big focus on bringing our students back in and repairing the harm that they've done after they've committed a suspendable offense. And everything with RAISE is grant funded, which is awesome. We really love our supporters. And currently it's at 3 high schools and a middle school. That'd be Nevada Union High School, Bear River High School, and Silver Springs High School. And it's also at Lyman Gilmore Middle School. Another huge focus on RAISE is that almost everything in this program is led completely by students. We have our circles, we have structured conversations, almost everything, even this presentation right now. Whenever we give it, it's always led by students completely. And as I mentioned before, RAISE is different from suspension because we're really trying to bring our students back into our community rather than push them away and punish them for what they've done.
So the next question would be, how does RAISE work? It starts with the student making a poor decision like vaping or getting caught vaping or drinking or something like that on campus. And they will get a choice to go through our program. We have a few requirements when the student does choose our program. One of the most important being that they're choosing to be here. We're not forcing them to come to our program. They have to want to be here because for the second one, students need to take accountability for their choice that they may have made. So if they're not choosing to be in our program, there's a lot of lacking of accountability. And the third one is that the student needs to be open to repairing harm that they may have caused to anyone else in the situation. So whoever may have caught them or anything like the situation that happened, they need to be open to repairing harm.
Some common RAISE referrals we have is we commonly work with students struggling with substance use, which is usually vaping or marijuana, truancy, so not coming to school, cutting class or just not showing up to class, disrespect to a staff member, or vandalism. We don't do RAISE circles for fights or violence because, like Ziggy was saying, there's a big lack of accountability. Students that lack accountability and students that are assigned to come to RAISE, they have to choose it.
All right, the RAISE circle. Once a student chooses RAISE, a circle is held with the student team and a restorative plan is created for the student. On the circle, there's the student team, 1 to 2 RAISE staff members, and a student completing their future circle. And hold tight, we'll talk about that more on the next slide. And then in that circle, a student leader is selected from the team, and they follow a script along with the team to get to know the student and create a restorative plan for them.
So now we'll be going over the restorative plan that we mentioned earlier. Each restorative plan consists of one thing from each of these 4 quadrants you see here. The first part of the quadrant is future circles. Every student going through RAISE will get to come back and sit with the student team to support another student going through RAISE. So we do this to kind of show the student coming back that they're not the only one dealing with struggles like this, and also that in the hopes that they might be able to help the student that they're supporting with struggles similar to theirs.
Yeah, the second quadrant of the restorative plan is the repairing harm aspect. So usually this is done through what we call a structured conversation. So let's say a student got caught vaping in a teacher's class they had a really close relationship with, and they feel like they really damaged that relationship that they had. You know, that teacher is disappointed in them and they're embarrassed, all that stuff. So we hold a structured conversation with this person. So like that teacher that would have caught them, and to kind of repair that harm that they may have done to their relationship. And this is just talking about how both parties feel about the incident so they can really get like a 2-sided view on what they're doing. And some students don't realize how they impact people. So this is a really important part of our plan.
The third quadrant is talking about the community engagement. And so at the beginning of the presentation, you may have noticed how we were listing things that we like to do in our free time. So during the circle, we will talk to the student about their interests and passions, and then we will create a project that aligns with those interests for them to participate in, to give back to the community. We don't call it community service. It's nothing like community service. It's to give back to our school community from anything they may have taken away from it. Yeah.
Then our last quadrant is support services. So every student that goes through RAISE will receive counseling with our RAISE counselor. And then every student also has the opportunity to receive education and support for reducing or stopping their substance use and receive academic support or tutoring if that's something they need.
Completing the plan. The student completes their plan in 30 school days with the support of their student supporter in the RAISE team or the RAISE program. And then over on the left here, we have some pictorial representation of the 4 quadrants. The upper left there is a student completing their future circle. Upper right quadrant is repairing harm. That's a structured conversation with a student kind of clearing the air with maybe whoever was affected by that, by their actions. And then lower left is a community engagement project. It was a bead making work or a bracelet making workshop. So a bunch of students got to come in. The student going through the program organized it. It was really awesome. And then over on the lower right corner is support services, a peer supporters helping with academic support.
So another question might be, why should a student choose RAISE instead of off-campus suspension or on or off-campus suspension? So a big part of RAISE is that you get to stay in school. You're not being pushed out of the community. Another big part of RAISE is that you have the opportunity to give back in a positive way. As on the contrary to on or off-campus suspension, you kind of get shoved out of the community and you really have no way of giving back and repairing the harm that you caused. So with RAISE, you're able to come back, repair the harm and give back in a positive way. And you're also able to get some support that you may not know you needed or that you may not know how to get it, which is tutoring and counseling.
Another core question for us is how effective is the RAISE program? The program is evaluated by researchers from UC San Diego, and their results said the suspension rates and substance use rates are down at all 4 of our sites, which is amazing. That's what we're going for. It's great to see, and students report a higher feeling of connection upon exiting the program. So both of our main goals of keeping our kids involved in the community and reducing their substance use or suspension rates are going up. And that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to see.
So after a student goes through our program, we have them take a survey, and these are some things that students have said in the survey about our program. So one is, I like the community and the thought that I can go to them and not be judged. I also like being able to meet new people. Another one said, I love the people in the RAISE program and how much they love to help. And the third person said, it was super friendly and there was no judgment with my problems. Everyone was awesome and nice. And if I get caught again, I will be coming back to RAISE because it's better than OCI. And it's just great to see this because it shows that we're actually having a positive effect on these students who are coming through our program.
We had a filmmaking crew come out over the span of a couple years, and they made a documentary about our program. So here's a little introduction, a little trailer about it.
We'll just show you the first few seconds of it.
It's no secret. Vaping of both nicotine and marijuana has become one of the biggest behavioral issues we're facing in schools today, resulting in increased suspensions, an overwhelmed staff, and kids getting pushed further and further away from school.
I'd say every bathroom I walk in during the day, there's always one person that has a vape or they're hitting it, so I'm not surprised with how many students get caught.
One of my teachers, when we asked to go to the bathroom, he says, "Oh, you're going to the vape lounge then."
The issue is complicated by the fact that California has recognized that suspension doesn't change behavior, removing it as an option and leaving individual districts to figure out how to address this epidemic. Here in Nevada County, we had to ask, if suspension's off the table, what actually works? This film follows our journey to find an answer.
All right, and if you want to learn more about bringing a RAISE training to your school, watching the Rays of Change documentary, or if you have any additional questions, you can go to the link right there in the lower right corner. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for sharing all your excellent work. And
Yeah.
everyone, please show some love for the Raise youth group in the group chat. It was really great to hear that you're allowing students to really take initiative and accountability and being really reflective on what the problems are in your community and making solutions without judging students. Also, great job like stylizing your presentation around the work that you're doing. So that's really nice. And that concludes our last youth group. We're very ahead of schedule. So let's switch gears and have this facilitated conversation with all three youth groups. The questions I'll be asking comes from the webinar registrant. So if you submitted something, thank you for contributing to this conversation, and we'll be prioritizing those questions during this time. If we don't get to your questions, which I likely don't think we will, we probably will get to it. Please feel free to follow up with the adult allies after this webinar. Now let's get started. The first question goes to Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. What first motivated you guys to get involved in your program?
That's right.
Yes.
What motivated me to get involved in this program was seeing teens and sometimes even close friends struggle with vaping and marijuana usage. They were too afraid to seek help, so I wanted to join this program so that other students and teens or anyone who struggles with drug usage would not be afraid to reach out and seek help and to educate everyone about how tobacco and drug usage is dangerous.
Yeah, thank you for that. And incorporating like your personal story in there as well. Okay. And the next question goes to Antioch High School peer advocates. What does it mean to lead as a peer rather than an adult or like an authority figure?
I feel like it means you can build like a stronger connection to the person you are working with and as an adult figure, because a lot of times I feel like students slash peers get really nervous talking to adults when it comes to situations like vaping, marijuana, alcohol, whatever like the substance could might be, or even if it's not like the substance, like other things we do in peers, like one-on-ones, talking about their feelings, conflicts. They get, even if they know they're not gonna get in trouble by the adult, they still hold back a little bit at the end of the day. I feel like, and when it comes to like a student or a peer-to-peer, it's easier for them to speak to them because it's someone their age, it's someone maybe they might even know. So I feel like it's a lot easier and a lot better for the student to just talk to a peer rather than like an adult or a figure.
Yeah, I can definitely second on that as like a previous peer-to-peer counselor. So I can second on everything that you just said. On to the next question that goes to Raise. What changes have you seen in your peers and or school starting this work?
I know we mentioned this a little bit in our slides, but data shows that suspension rates and substance uses are down and a sense of community is up, says the students going through the RAISE program. And I think I also have just seen that there's like a lot more engagement, especially with that community engagement piece. It just fosters a sense of support and that you have peers that are there for you.
Yeah, it definitely makes it gives you a sense of belonging. And, to follow up on that, a question I have for Antioch High School peer advocates, in what ways has connecting with peer mentors influenced students' sense of belonging or the feeling of being understood?
Okay, so after our pies, Schweitzer sends out a survey, like I said in the presentation, and one of the questions was, in what ways do you feel this program was helpful? And one of the students I was doing a pie with, she answered, honestly, I don't have much friends, and Jazzy was really sweet. Having this time with her helped me just not feel lonely. It's nice to have someone to talk about anything. She helped me by being a companion. So this just shows how much of an impact we are making into just like making them feel seen and heard and like just building a connection with them.
Yeah, those reflection like surveys at the end, like the evaluation forms are so helpful. And you guys are, yeah, you're making such a big impact on your community, even though you don't think you are, but when you have like comments like that, it's like it's really influencing you to continue that kind of work. Next question goes to Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. How do you talk to students who may not see like smoking or vaping as a problem, or people who feel judged by the prevention messages?
I would begin by stating a fact to settle the foundation that vaping and doing drugs is a real world problem, such as 73,000 people died in 2025 because of overdosing in drugs. And if some people feel judged because of PSAs or anyone trying to tell them that drugs are not okay, I will tell them that people aren't trying to judge them. They're trying to inform them and help them grow from their problems.
I really like how you like allowed them to like change their perspective and gave like, yeah, another way for them to look at it. Yeah. Okay. Next question goes to Raise. Have you faced ever like any pushback from your peers, adults, or systems, and how were you able to like handle it, or how did you handle it?
Yeah, I just want to preface by saying we don't face a lot of pushback from peers since we have a requirement that you choose to go through RAISE and that you're taking accountability for your actions. However, I did face an issue with attendance recently. A student I was supporting wasn't showing up to work on her community engagement project and a restorative plan. And to resolve this, we used a structured conversation with me, the student I was supporting, and then a staff at RAISE or like facilitated the conversation just so we could move forward and clear the air, and that resolved it.
Yeah, great job like being flexible and like taking well, oh, the word is not coming to mind. But yeah, being able to be flexible and moving around that challenge. Um, Next question goes to like Antioch High School peer advocates regarding the topic of challenges. What challenges or barriers make it harder for peer mentors to fully step in these leadership roles?
Something challenging for peers to step into a leadership role is that it's kind of something that we're not really used to sometimes, or for certain people, we're used to being the mentee or the kid, being led by an adult. So being in a mentor position isn't familiar. So like being like in leadership is can be difficult to navigate through.
Yeah. I definitely can like second on that as like when I was in high school, I faced a lot of like challenges myself as well. So yeah. Next question goes to, well, Ventura County of Office of Education Youth Development Program. Well, how do you keep the momentum going when the participation drops or like the interest fades in your program?
We when participation drops and interest fades, we keep the momentum going by having a good spirit and trying to lighten the students' days. We try adding new games that we have, like for them to participate in, and sometimes we bring like new activities too, essentially to like get them more interested in something new. And sometimes we even like give prizes out for like the games just for like they don't have to win or anything, but just for participation. Like we do candy, chips, or like even water bottles or small plushies.
Yeah, those incentives can go a long way. Next question goes to Raise. What kind of adult support has made like a big difference for your group? You can do a shout out right now.
I'd say the biggest adult support that helps with Raise is basically every single teacher on campus because we're super ingrained into our school. Like we said, we want to keep students involved in the community. So the whole program is super ingrained into the school. And a lot of times the community engagement projects, as we mentioned before, work closely with another teacher, you know, like an art teacher, the auto teacher, something like that. So I think the greatest support that we get is from just all the faculty on campus. It's amazing.
Yeah, that youth and adult allyship can go a long way as well. So, on to the next question that goes to Antioch High School peer advocates. If you could give one like piece of advice to school staff working with student leaders, what would that be?
So I just say to have confidence in your students who are mentoring because we have a lot of connection with the students that we are mentoring and teaching, and to also just be understanding and open-minded because our ideas might not be the adults' ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely second on that. And that's really I hear what you're saying. Yeah. And then the next question goes to Raise. What advice would you give to students who want to start something similar at their schools?
I would say the biggest piece of advice is finding like-minded people. I think the more people you can find that have similar ideals as you and want to start something similar as you, the easier it'll be to create a program because money is always an issue, you know, funding is definitely necessary. The more people that you get involved and the more people that you can find to support the program, the easier it'll be to start.
Thank you for your response. Yeah. On to the next question to Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. Well, what is your guys' like biggest win so far?
I believe our biggest win so far has been getting people to acknowledge drugs as a real world problem and as an actual issue, not something that they can just brush aside and ignore it until the problem gets worse. People have been acknowledging it because we work with our advisory teachers in order to share anti-drug PSAs. We do presentations, hold outdoor events, and we also do events like Red Ribbon Week, just so more people can be educated about all the effects that drugs and vaping have on our community.
And then my second question also goes to Ventura County Office of Education Youth Development Program. You can add on to this. How can peer mentors be leaders for school-wide well-being? How do you think?
The most effective way we can be leaders for the school-wide well-being is by encouraging students to stay positive and being there for anyone to talk to if they need anything. We can act as relatable trained supporters who normalize mental health conversations and model positive behavior for others to follow. Our team tries to decrease the use and prevent the use of tobacco and other drugs by doing activities such as Red Ribbon Week and having the advisory PSAs. Studies show that schools that implement the TUPE program, such as our school, are 20% less likely to use tobacco overall and 23% less likely to vape compared to peers in schools that do not use this program.
Yeah, thank you for that statistic, and also way to go to being like leaders for your community. On to the next question that goes to Antioch High School peer advocates. How do you apply your peer-to-peer skills like outside of school?
I feel like our skills apply everywhere outside of school. I know we've talked a lot about like the work we've done with Pi and the work we've done with the students, but I feel like the number one thing we learned was from our beginning year as peers. We learned a lot of things such as like like hand signals, eye contact, speaking, learning not to like talk for someone, learning to help someone figure out their own answer, and like a lot of stuff for ourselves, like mental stuff for ourselves. I feel like I used it a lot. Like when I first joined the program, I was a lot more like I wouldn't say aggressive, but like I would definitely say something like that. And now I feel like a lot more calmer. I feel like I can speak a lot better. Like I've always been more like I've never had problems speaking in front of people, but I feel like I'm a lot more better at it now, especially when it comes to a lot of aspects of the program.
Yep.
I feel like I can outside. Sorry about
Sorry
that.
to cut you off. I was just gonna say that like yeah, it definitely like it definitely makes an impact on you and like becoming like more of an emotionally intelligent person and being more understanding of others and what they're like going through. The last question goes to Ray's before we open it up to anyone to answer any questions. Ray's, how has this experience shaped how you see leadership or your future goals?
I feel like through this program, I've learned so many different, like, or more like honed in on so many different leadership qualities, like being able to listen and understand better, and also learning how to talk to people who may be struggling more, not better, struggling more. And it also, the program showed me how like important it is to support these people who may be struggling with like all these things. You never know what they are struggling with at home. And I feel like as a personal goal, it's made me realize that I want to go somewhere in the medical field so I can be supporting people in some way like that.
That's crazy. I can definitely like I feel like that was also the same thing for me. So now I'm gonna open this up for any of the three groups to answer any of these additional questions. So the first question is what conversations with a peer that like really stood out to you? And any of the three youth groups, any of you guys can answer it.
Okay, so I want to tell you guys about a conversation I had with my very first PI mentee. And so we were going through our packet and she told me, so she was like checking off what things she disliked and liked about smoking. And she realized that she disliked so many of them. She's like, wow, I didn't realize like how much I hated smoking, like how much I disliked about it. And that just really stuck with me because I feel like I helped her learn like the bad side of it.
Yeah, you're like a great like important aspect of like her reflection, I guess. Yeah. Next question is, what's something you tried that didn't work and what did you learn from it? Take a few minutes to think about it.
It looks like Raze is showing their hands up.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say a little while ago, our admins tried forcing students to go through RAISE so that if they were caught on a second offense for something, they would force students to go through RAISE, to try and just help them out a little bit more. But that really didn't work very well because, a huge part of RAISE is that we choose it and that you accept responsibility. So the students kind of felt like they were being pushed into it. And they were like, I didn't, it was very hard for them to accept responsibility for their actions. So that didn't really work very well.
Yeah. It probably like made you think that like it strengthened your guys' objective that it's not like about like forcing people to do it. It's like they do it on their own will. Next question is, what does a truly supportive adult ally look like in action to you?
Oh, um, to us, a truly supportive adult ally is someone who doesn't judge you for anything you've done. They don't take into account what your past has been like. They just take into account the present and what you're currently trying to do and focus on. It's someone that doesn't care where you come from or what you're done before, but what you're trying to achieve and how you're going to do that.
And
I really,
oh, sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say that like I really like how you put that.
And
You can go.
Okay, sorry. But another example is like our ASB teacher, Mr. Lopez, he helped us with like this whole thing along with the TUPE people. Um, and he was really supportive through the whole thing. He was helping us, checking to see if like we had our slides done, we had everything just put together, and he helped us a lot with that.
Yeah, that support and like having someone reliable just there can be like a big support for youth for sure. And then what else? We have how do you take care of yourself when you're like supporting others, but what about yourself? How do you take care of yourself while supporting others?
One way I take care of myself while supporting others is making sure I can just have at least an hour to myself each day where I can unwind and refocus, recenter what I need to do. Um, I always have a lot on my plate, and so I really need to focus on what I need to do. But sometimes I also need to focus on myself, which is why I like to just take a moment and calm down, just rewind, refocus, and recenter.
Way to like putting yourself first and like advocating for yourself because you're like doing so much for others, but it's also important to always take care of yourself before others. Next question is, what keeps you motivated when this work feels heavy?
What just happened?
What happened? Switzer, we need help.
Oh, I just kicked out the Zoom.
Switzer, we need help.
Oh.
You guys are in the Zoom?
Never mind,
Oh,
don't need
sweet.
help.
Okay, something that keeps me motivated when work feels heavy is that the hard work I put in to help others, it pays off because it helps others. Like it makes me feel better, and I feel like that's what really keeps me going.
I like how you put that. Yeah. Next question is, what gives you hope about the future of this like kind of work that you're doing?
Okay, so I feel like we just have an amazing teacher who's very good at teaching us how to communicate and just how to do all the work that she teaches us. And I know that the next generation of peer advocates will be very lucky to have her and be very lucky to have this program.
Yeah, it's seeing you guys is like I'm very hopeful of the future. Like, wow. The last question that we have
Wait,
for
Rehma?
this, yes.
I'm so sorry. It looks like BCOE also wants to chime in
Oh,
for that
go
question.
for it.
So this program, I have a lot of hope for it because I know that some students in middle school are influenced or suffer from peer pressure with drug usage. And I'm really hoping that this program helps a lot of students realize that there is somewhere that they can go if they're struggling with it or struggling with like peer pressure. And I really hope that they know that this is a program that they can go to at all times.
The last question that we have is there something we haven't asked that feels important for you guys to share? This could be all three of the groups could go. Anything important or last speaking points?
I think we just wanted to share that as much as Raise helps other students, it also helps the leaders within Raise kind of discover more about themselves and realize that, there's a lot of people out there that are struggling. I know for myself, I didn't really give people a second thought before I joined Raise, and now I take everything into consideration when I'm, you know, evaluating someone, and I'm realizing that everyone has some sort of story and some sort of background that they come from that might not always be pleasant. And so it kind of just helps you not judge too quickly. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that it's totally changed our perspective of people.
Yeah, and as I said before, like I think you become like more of an understanding person as you go throughout the program. So, does anybody else want to chime in? If not, that is okay. I think we're good. All right, I will segue into the end to wrap up this webinar. And then let me see if the slide presentation can be pulled up.
Rehma, I can go ahead and facilitate some of the questions for the adults because we had some great questions. So again, thank you so much, all of our student leaders who joined today. Rehma will still give her closing slides in a bit, so please hang tight for that. But we do have some questions from the adult allies in our group chat who are asking, some really great programmatic logistical questions that they have for the adult allies of all of these three youth groups. So I can go ahead and facilitate that in a late introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy. I'm the training manager with CSHA. So just to get these Q&A started for like the adult allies, if you're able to chime in, that would be great. So the very first question asked is, do you all recommend any websites for students to be able to find out more information about vaping, drugs, that is relatable to students? Take some time to think about that.
I think that just going to TUPE and talking to your um, your county office about what they offer. They've sent us a lot of materials, and they send the students a lot of materials that when they're doing the end of the PI meetings, they give them things for YVape and other organizations that they're able to look up and get assistance from. So I think that's the best resource, or that's the best resource that we've used so far. Yeah.
And then I also believe that our little like TUPE kits, the students receive once they're done with their pies, comes with a little like business card, like kind of like a business card thing that comes with like I believe a phone number, a website that you can call if you're like struggling with any type of addiction or substance or mental health.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing, Antioch High School. Yes, definitely tap into your TUPE County coordinators. They are well versed on this and they're well connected with all the other TUPE folks within California. TUPE again is Tobacco Use Prevention Education. And yes, it sounds like Antioch High School even have resources for your young people too through your kits. So that is awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. Let's move on to the next question. This is actually for Antioch High School too, because it's asking about PI certification. So is the PI certification different than the certification to become a peer advocate? If you can expand a little bit more on that.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So in our peer advocacy class, we have like 3 different trainings. We have a conflict mediation training, we have a basic skills one-on-one mentoring training, and then we have the PI certification training. All of those 3 things are different certifications for the students to get. The PI training comes through TP in the county along with now it's co-led or totally facilitated by the peer advocates, but the county is who is driving it and who wrote the curriculum with the peer students. And then I teach the students in conflict mediation and in the training skills for the training room for one-on-one meetings and mentoring. So all 3 of those things are just different components, and then they don't get their peers badge until they're certified in all 3.
That is awesome to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely, it sounds like your peer advocates are well trained and there's different certifications for them to go through. So I'm glad to hear that. And I know in the chat, Marlene, the adult ally from Raise, has also answered some questions as well. So I'll go ahead and pass by those. So thank you for answering them, Marlene and Raise. But this is actually for Raise. This is a question for the Raise group. What percentage of students choose Raise versus choosing a suspension? If you know that at the top of your head, or is there a general estimate, that would be great to hear. And the follow-up question aligned with that question is, do many just want to be suspended and not go through the Raise process? Or do you find that the Raise process is what students are more and more likely to be choosing?
You have to click unmute.
Oh, it is unmute. We hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Hi everyone, I'm Marlena. So we don't have the exact number for the number of students who pick raise as opposed to suspension, because by the time they come to us, they've already chosen it. We do know that way more students choose to do, here it's called OCI or on-campus intervention, than go through raise. More of them do that for a variety of reasons. One, our program takes 30 days to complete, so it's, it takes more time. It's definitely more effort for the student involved. And from what we have found is that students really need to be at a place where they're open to the support that we're providing them through this program. Most of the students who come to us, especially if it's for vaping or marijuana use, are at a place where they want to make a change. And so if they're not at that place yet, usually they're not a good fit for our program. So I don't have exact numbers. I do know that more still choose suspension or on-campus suspension as opposed to our program. But we definitely get enough referrals where we're pretty busy with who we are supporting.
Got it.
Hopefully
Thank you
that
so
answers
much.
the question.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do think for the students who do choose to opt in, it is a great opportunity for them to be part of your RAISE program. So still thank you for having that program, still training your students on it, your student leaders on it, and also providing that as an option, because I always think it's nice to have options, especially as a young person, to choose from and be informed of, right? So again, thank you. And then just for time's sake, I'll just do one last question, and this is open to any of the three groups and their adult allies. But how do the programs ensure confidentiality of what is shared by the students? Antioch High School, I see your hands raised. Go ahead, please.
So when we're first, is it Antioch or?
Oh, there we go.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. So when we first joined the program, or like even before we joined the program, when we signed up, because when you sign up, it's the year before you actually enter the program, because it's like a process where you get interviewed. They make sure to tell you like the whole point of the program is confidentiality. That's how this program is continuing to go, and that's why this program is really popular at our school, because everyone can, know they could talk to us about something and it will be confidential. And then so we're like, that is engraved in our mind from the beginning peers to even now, that everything is confidential. And, if something were to happen, like if we were to say something that would happen and the teacher found out, we would like not get in trouble, but there would be like consequences to our behavior. Like, there could be, we'll have a meeting about it, possible like kicked out of the class. There's many things that could happen depending on the severity of the, spilling the secret.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's important to build trust with the people and the peers that you're talking to, right? So confidentiality is key. I think VCOE Youth Development Program, were you going to share something, or was it Ray's going to share something? Did you want to chime in? Raise, I see your hand raised. Go ahead. And then once you unmute, you can share.
Yeah, we don't really struggle with confidentiality that much, or we haven't had a problem with it yet, because as we mentioned in our presentation, like during that raised circle, we follow a script, and on that script we have agreements. And I think the first agreement that we go over, everyone involved in the circle agrees to keep everything that is discussed in that circle confidential. So a lot of times these students are opening up to things that are embarrassing or strange, those things you wouldn't normally hear. And everyone involved in the race front, like we've never had a single issue with confidentiality. It's never been a problem for us. So I think that agreement is a big thing for us.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing. So very similarly, putting it out there first that this is an expectation, right? That confidentiality is a must when you have these sort of alternative to suspension programming. So thank you, Rays, for doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna pass it over back to Rehma so that she can share some resources with you all. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Bear with me, please. There we go. Rehma, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, I will be wrapping up this webinar. We want to make sure we're sharing some additional resources with you all. Again, you will get the slide deck and all of these resources in our follow-up email, but I want to highlight two specific ones as they relate to peer-to-peer work and tobacco use prevention education efforts. The first one is CSHA put together the school-based peer-to-peer resource hub to create a library of information and resources that can help schools easily access tools to advocate for and plan and implement peer-to-peer programs. On that web page, you can find what and how and whys of peer-to-peer work. We also have the Power of Peers curriculum along with the multiple other peer guides included in that hub. The second thing we're highlighting in our resource section is the TUPE Youth Listening Session infographic. CSHA is conducting a listening session with 12 high school students to gather perspectives on tobacco and substance use, mental health, and supportive strategies. That infographic provides student-driven recommendations that can be helpful for adult allies in creating supportive programs that address tobacco and other substance use. And just to briefly mention that there are other resources here on this slide, but they range from webinars featuring different youth groups and their peer-to-peer programs and a case study on how a continuation school lead effective substance use prevention work to our webpage on youth tobacco use, prevention, and youth engagement. You can review these resources like more in depth with the links in the group chat. With that, thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. We hope you felt really inspired by all the youth leaders you heard from today. If you have any questions we couldn't address, please feel free to follow up with the adult allies. We've listed all of their email addresses here. Also, as you exit this webinar, a Zoom survey will pop up. So please be sure to briefly fill that survey out briefly so we can continue to improve our webinars for you guys. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.